This is like oh, what is going on today? Did everyone hurt their back? Because I mean, I know it's Candy and I, but I'm like, where's everybody else? All right, let's get started with something good. Bucket fills and what's good? I'm gonna start because I just got a text message from well, you know him, Brian Paschke, and we were going to visit him, me and my daughters at the end of this month, and he just texted me, goes, "Are you still coming at the end of March?" I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be? He's like, "Great, I'll pick you up at the airport." So I was like, oh, now I'm even more excited. Just gotta get this working, you know? Back thing. What else? What else is good? Oh, look, here's everybody coming in like 5 minutes late. Alex is like, it's not even two. I brought my friend.
Real estate time and island time are
Two different things.
Yeah.
What's good with you?
Oh,
No, you were early today and you were prepared for the meeting that we weren't having.
I'm leaving real estate time and island time behind.
Here we go. All right, what else? Moving on from Jose. What else is good? You guys, I told you, I will always be like super awkward until someone says something that's good.
My grandbaby is gonna be here really
Oh
soon.
my gosh, it's like really soon.
I know.
When is the due date?
Well, it's gonna, anytime.
And that was the due date?
They moved-
Anytime?
It was March 17th and they moved it up.
Okay. And when are you leaving?
I leave.
I mean, I know, but I just want you to share with everybody.
I leave April 2nd for Okinawa, Japan, and I will be there the whole month of April with my new grandson.
So I just want everyone to hear that Heather is gonna be gone for an entire month
Yeah.
as our MCA,
Yeah.
so you can
Lydia-
have a lot of patience with us.
Lydia is in charge.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one question.
Oh, wait. So that's 4 questions. Are we gonna have
My question?
No.
On behalf of the.
There's not too many, but you know.
So save your question for something important.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
That's it.
Done. All right, what else? What else is good? Candy, I know you have something good to share.
me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if she's good yet. We have a new puppy.
Oh. Is she naughty already?
No, she did wake up at 2:30, which I'm not used to doing, but
It's been a long time since that happened.
but no, she's been good. So
Good, good. All right.
I'll bring her in.
Oh, I can't wait. So in case you guys haven't realized, we are now a dog office. Like on a daily basis, someone's dog is in here and it better come visit me. So just FYI. Ooh, do you want to talk about this, Heather? The refresh, you guys are a little bit more on top of this, I feel like, than I am, or maybe Candy.
Yeah, so just putting this out there again, that this is something that you guys can totally do. It's the agent refresh. When you go on and do that, Scott Leroy actually goes into your command, helps you set up different things. The list on the side is all the different things that they can help you with. And you can kind of decide, you know, you can send them a note saying like, do this, not this, whatever. But they can really go in and just kind of give you a cleanup. If you also wanted them to redo some stuff with your contacts or do a certain smart plan or help you with that newsletter, there's a lot of things that they can do. And then beyond the refresh, if you guys have a new listing and you want them to put your marketing together, they will do that as well. So check it out. If you have questions, you can always stop by my office or send me an email.
They also have daily training, so feel free to look at their training calendar.
So I don't know if you guys remember when he kind of did his little spiel, right? So you go onto the site and there's a whole list of things that they can do for you. And I can guarantee you there's about 75% of you that does not have that whole list of things done in your command. And they will do it for you. So especially when the normal questions that you will come up and ask Candy or Lydia are about command, reach out here because they're there to help. You can, you know, do email anything to make sure that stuff gets done in your command. So
And they are experts.
who's taken advantage of this so far? Alex? Okay, I'm gonna call you out on this right now, okay? Because a lot of you ask for different things in this market center, and I know that this is gonna be like me kind of not tattling or scolding. This is gonna solve so many of your problems, like in so many different ways. Like, how do I get people into my database? How do I get them into command? How do I set up a newsletter? I don't know how to do X, Y, Z, right? As a market center, we invested in you, right? We invested in you. We brought this to you so that all of those things are taken care of, right? So it's sitting at your fingertips, and yes, it does need you to go do it and contact them, right? But it is right there, you guys. And if we're not utilizing this, we at some point just won't have it, right? We just won't pay for it anymore, because if no one's going to use it, that's a waste of an expense, right? So really what we want to see you guys do is use these items, right? And again, if you feel like it's not of value, awesome. We will absolutely X-nay that off the list. However, from what we've heard from a lot of agents in this office is this would be a value to you, right? So please, please, please utilize it. It'll make your life so much easier. I promise you, it will. It truly will. All right, March training calendar. So I'm like, what is the date today? So we're at team meeting. We still have our movie Fridays. I don't know. Did we set up April's movies yet?
Yeah, we're doing Back to the Future.
Oh, yes, we are. I forgot about that. So April
trilogy?
Back to the Future, but we have a whole bunch of other months. It does have to be PG or PG-13. So it can't be anything wild and crazy. But if you have any movies that you want played with the popcorn on Fridays, let us know. Ask the broker next week with Kevin, and then R&R is actually at McCormick's, right? I really like this thing that I'm guessing Jordan put together here. It's usually from 4 to 6-ish. We usually we say 4 to 6, seems like it never ends at 6. So 4 to 6-ish is R&R. I think there's some really good things we're talking about right now with where the market's at and what people are doing to find success. So again, if you don't indulge in cocktails, but you do in appetizers, or you don't eat either, still come to this great conversation. Okay. Oh, Tony's so excited about this. I wish he was in here. So I asked Tony, I was like, is it okay if we do an interview with you next week? And he's like, yeah, you got 15 minutes. I don't know why you're making such a big deal about this. It's not going to be 15 minutes. It's going to be the whole time. But this is a great, he has no idea what the questions are either. So he may or may not show up. Just be prepared for that. So I might need a backup. But we're going to kind of go into how he started in the business, right? So he actually was an investor first, then got into the business, built a team. And some of you might not know, he built that team with his wife, and kind of broke systems, made systems, course corrected is what he likes to say. And now it's Tony and Shane. So kind of that whole journey on how he got there, and the things that he learned about it. So this is going to be a really cool interview because he doesn't always share a lot in here. So, you know, I feel like it's also revenge for January's where I cried. So we'll see if I can make Tony cry.
No, he's really not coming.
No, I told him I would. But I did send out, like a flow desk invite. So please put your name on there, because just so that we know who's all coming, because there are quite a few people outside of the market center that were invited as well. And then 6 personal perspectives are on the 25th. And then just a reminder, I like this. Please sign up for classes, right? Because we have people that either come in to teach those classes, and we want to know how many people will be there, right? And if no one signs up and something comes up with someone like that, you know, now they are aware that no one is coming to that class, because people prepare a lot to be able to teach an hour class. Is that fair? Can we start signing up for classes? Do we all know how to sign up for classes? Okay, so on here, you can actually click on the calendar, right? And it takes you right to a sign up sheet. So you can sign up for the classes there. It's in an email that Lydia sends out. It might even be on the email signature for you.
It's not anymore, but I can do
Okay.
that. It's also on Peak of the Week every Sunday. I send it out with what's going on with the week, and you can click on the link there too to sign up.
Awesome. Any questions around the trainings for March? Okay. Oh, printer changes. This is Lydia and Heather. So you guys got an email yesterday, I believe, and you're gonna be getting emails all the way up until the printer change. Oh, no, you're gonna talk about it. Because they cannot do anything for you anymore in regards to the printer changes. So I will let them kind of discuss that piece. Remember, you used to come in and Lydia used to put your printer driver in. Now it is actually going to be a specific email that is sent to each and every one of you as an agent. Where you get to pick out your own number that you get to put into this, printer. Do you guys want to take over on that piece?
It'll be happening on Monday for part of the, or Tuesday actually for part of the market center. As Kimi said, it will be an email that comes. You will download your print drivers and then you'll immediately have access to the new copiers. Some really great benefits with, well, you know, your copiers, the leases are up, they're 5-year lease, so we got a new lease. And, but now you'll be able to, there'll be no more hiccups with Apple upgrades. You know, when your Apple updates, it's now just gonna work smoothly. You can print from your cell phone.
You can just press print with a Mac now. You don't have to like go in and trick the system to try to.
Yes, you'll be able to, you can now print from your cell phone, from an iPad, from a tablet, anywhere that you want. You can print from home. Come in and release it from the printer and then take it and run. You wouldn't need to bring your laptop in here if you were running late. There's some really great changes.
So what she means by that, so they don't know probably what it means. So you send your printer, job to the printer.
At home.
It does not print immediately.
Yeah.
Right? So you actually have to release it at the printer and print it. So number one, if you have something you don't want other people seeing or it's confidential, you now get to release that print job, right? So if you're from your house, you can still send it to that printer. It's not gonna release till you get here and you actually release that print job and it'll print at that time.
And this will also, you'll also have access to see all of your copies and how many copies you've done. So sometimes people reach out to me and there's like, you know, there's no way I could have done that many copies. You'll now have access to show you what day you did them on, what day you did them on, how many you
Side
did.
note, if you remember to track your print copies, I want you to track your contacts that you call, just FYI.
But yeah, so it'll just be
You
really,
know what the mindset is there? You're like, oh, I'm paying for copies, but I'm not paying for the contacts I'm not making. Well, just FYI.
so just you'll have access to a lot more stuff to be able to see what you're doing. And you will now go up to the printers every time and release your print job. So Lydia and I actually shred a lot of paper
Yeah.
that's left on the printer. We don't do it right away. You know, we wait a couple of days and then if no one has picked it up, we go ahead and clean it up and take it and shred it. And so I really think it could save all of you guys a few bucks. And it'll be a nice, easy, it'll be the same type of menu. And I think you guys are really gonna like the new copier. So we're looking forward to it.
So number one thing to remember is that email that is gonna get sent to you. I know you guys get a ton of emails, whether or not it's spam, it's, you know, clients, whatever it is. That email is gonna be sent to you on Tuesday, correct?
Yes, it should be.
So it's
yeah.
gonna get sent to you on Tuesday. Do not erase it, right? Because that's the email that you need to set up your like personal print driver in your computer. And what we'll do is we'll have you reference that again. So just make sure that you're on the lookout for that particular email.
And from now on, when you log in, you no longer have to choose your email to scan it to, it'll just go directly to you.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be fun.
Love that.
So yeah, we're looking forward to it. All happening next week.
Thank you.
Any questions around that?
Anything else, Lydia?
Okay. When is the email getting sent to you? Why do you need the email?
So you can print.
If you want to print,
Okay, just checking. I mean, to be fair, I would probably erase the email, so.
Don't erase the email.
Anytime I say that, I'm speaking to myself as well.
and we have not seen the email, but they have assured us it's a very easy step program. So I mean, it's just like downloading.
Is it coming, where will it be coming from? Like, what is the email, like, is it from?
Not sure yet.
Okay,
I don't know that answer. I'm sorry.
okay.
But we will definitely keep you posted on that.
This is you. Oh,
Quick update to the update from yesterday. CPI came in a little cooler month over month. on that, which is normally a good thing for rates. However, that indicates, I guess, to somebody that PCE, which is 2 weeks from now, is gonna be in higher. So the rate rally is probably done for now. We had a pretty good run. We're sitting at 6.75, give or take, depending on the situation right now, much better than even 3-4 weeks ago on that. So still a good time. That means the news will get to probably buyers in about 2-3 weeks that it was 6.7 or 6.75, right? So just so you know, you want to be out ahead of that with folks on there. The other thing we'll be looking out for is the Fed meeting will be next week. Don't expect any cuts in March to come in, but they can indicate what they're going to do the rest of the year. So that'll be something to pay attention to. Could be some momentary up and down in the market. Really, everybody's pretty much going to start looking at the job market now, and that'll be should be more than inflation impacting rates on that end. So a weaker job market, better for interest rates. Unfortunate for that. We have to root for kind of negatives to get a positive on that. So any thoughts or questions on that whatsoever?
What's Trump gonna do with tariffs?
Obvious if you look at it. It's super obvious. He always knows exactly what he's gonna do. Well, that keeps us on our toes, right? So we'll see. It'll be fun to find out.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if you guys recall many of the conversations we've had about real estate, right? We sometimes believe that real estate is this fun little island that we live on, right? And everyone else cares about real estate and everybody knows what's going on and it's not affected by anything, right? And we've had conversation after conversation, month after month after month about how microeconomy and the actual like economy affects all of these things, right? So how many of you are feeling that in the last few months, right? Like where all of a sudden people are actually paying attention to the economy. Because we were not before, not because it was great or bad or any of the other things, we just weren't, right? Part of that is because of media, right? So I'm like, this as well, we talk about what are you posting? What are you talking about? How are you getting in front of your clients? This is a huge way to get in front of your clients where you kind of made a joke 2 weeks from now, people are going to realize where the rates were or, 2 weeks before, because we kind of sit here and we don't give them the information, right? Like, we're like, oh, they'll just know. They don't know. They don't know the things that we don't tell them, just like they didn't know about the lawsuit because nobody told them and they were not looking up anything online. They weren't looking at Inman News. They weren't looking at any of that, right? Most of the people had no idea what was going on. Is that fair? But it is our job to let them know this information. And if we have not relayed this information to our buyers yet, or the buyers that were sitting on the fence, or how this can change, I mean, a lot of things for them, we're not doing our job, right? Like, let's get out there and educate people. Educate people on why or why not, or how to make the right decision for themselves. That, hey, now's the right time to buy might not be the way to go because we don't know that. We have no idea if it's the right time for someone to buy. Questions for Eric?
Okay. Reminder, the 20th, we host a thing over at Full Tilt for the NCAA March Madness Day 1. Pretty much take over half of that bar on that, so.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Do you have to know anything about basketball?
Yes, there's a quiz when you walk in.
Not going.
There is not, no, we just hang out and watch it. We'll send this out too. There's a bracket that you can fill out. This one's free, and I think we give away some stuff. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's worthwhile. We also have a paid one that we might share with you guys too, but compliance doesn't like that. And then I wanted to mention too, yesterday we had some great conversation about appraisals and stuff on there. So we're gonna invite the head of our appraisal management company to come up and chat with us on the 22nd. He is a wealth of information. I've said it before. His name's Bart. He's a cowboy. He is super entertaining and super knowledgeable. It'll be worth the price of admission just to show up and hear him because he's wild. So please put it on your on your calendars. It'll be worthwhile. We did it last year with a local appraiser. I think there was a ton of information that was shared that was super valuable, both, you know, from you as a listing agent or a buy-side agent. Just a lot of any question is fine with Bart.
Give us a little information on appraisals right now. What are we seeing? I mean, from what I'm hearing, there are multiple offers everywhere again,
Yeah.
right? And things are kind of going a little bonkers in price point. What are you seeing on that
The
side?
concern is the same always in the spring. Appraisers don't have enough comps to use to support the higher purchase prices, so that is always an issue. So right there, that's something that you see. It's this time of year, every year we see it on that. I don't know if it's any more pronounced this year than others. It feels like it every year. Like, oh my God, we're never gonna get that. There's always a way to figure it out, but that's the difficulty. So it's I guess talking through that with both your buyers and the sellers. A higher purchase price could be difficult if you can't justify it. And usually you guys know by seeing yourselves, if you're doing a market analysis, you guys know what's reasonable for a price on a purchase price as well. And it's usually not too far. But as far as like timing of appraisals, like no issues there. They're not busy enough. I know it seems busy because a lot of people are out and looking, but there's still only so many homes that are being sold, right? Even if a bunch of people are making offers on it. So we're flying. Last weekend, there were 4 or 5 people that wanted to close at the end of the month, and I have no issue saying, yeah, we can still do that. So as quick as you need to go, we can go, and appraisal should not be an issue on that end.
Yeah.
In exchange for you letting me crash your meeting, I'll give you a real quick little piece of value that I found out recently. So I got a little weird on InfoSparks a few months ago.
If anybody does not know Tim gets weird on InfoSparks a lot, just
Yeah,
FYI.
post office. I got a little weird with InfoSparks, and that really doesn't happen that often. It's kind of overstated, but you know, it's fun to poke fun. But no, I really wanted to know kind of like how much do prices go up from like the trough of the fall to the following spring? So I just simply looked at month by month median sale price in the 7-county metro area. And I think I went back to like 2011. And I literally looked at, okay, here it was in January closings, and then here was the following June. I averaged it out over that time period. You know how much on average the median sale price goes up from the trough to the following spring's peak, going back to 2011? Anybody?
You want percentage or do you want
Percent. How
dollars?
much does it go up percent?
I
7 to
would
10.
say
7's a common,
19%.
common guess. 19 made you made a face like, whoa, right?
That's
Right,
high.
like that'd be crazy. What do you got? Anybody else? 17%.
Oh.
And so I do think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Very few people know it. And Kami's still voting. Hang on.
Yeah, give me a second.
Can you bring it over now? So you
That may be something. A few more minutes.
it was closer to.
No, 7 is like a very common guess that I've heard. Like, I think a lot of people, you were probably like playing a little bit of the game, like, oh, I bet this is gonna be surprising, so whatever, We'll give you credit for being spot on. though.
$60,000.
But, no, I mean, I think it's, appraisers obviously have their boxes.
But
they
that's
need to
also
check.
average, by the way. So, I mean, that's a really high average, right? Because there's some that it's going up a lot more than that.
And to be fair,
To
I
2011.
think I went back to 2011. And by the way, anyone could do this. It didn't really take me that long. You just got to think of the question sometimes. And it took me 21 and a half years to think of the question. I got my license, so. Yeah, no, I will caveat it with the last 2 years. So this year it didn't go down as much. It's not gonna be, unless we like go quite a bit over 400. And then last year, from the fall of 23 to last June, when it peaked at 392.5, it didn't go up anywhere near that much. It was single digits. But there were years where it went up 20+%. And there's clearly a lot of seasonality, and appraisers probably don't know that, so. And
Fair.
sometimes that stuff can help them, even though it maybe isn't on their checklist. So,
I'm using that in the fall.
well, it's also a good way to say, hey, buyers, if you're struggling now, maybe we wait a while,
Yeah.
It's the reality of
Well,
it.
that goes back to the information, right? You give them the information and they can make the decision, right? Some buyers need to be in a place because of school district. Some buyers are like, I'd like to wait because of that particular, you know what I mean? Like you can't we as agents can't decide like now is the time. We have no idea depending on each individual person, right? Unless you ask them the right questions. Awesome. Anything else? Thanks, Tim.
And there will be tacos.
Only if you sign up.
Only if you.
Lydia.
Video, take it out of your hand.
Only if we sign up. And it's in April and Heather won't be back, so. All right, Wendy, this is you.
Yeah. So I don't remember when I got this, but thanks. And I'm gonna pass it on to Jelena Moe, who is our productivity coach. She also though just is, she's an investor. She is someone who really models all the things we talk about in here at KW. She's an incredible resource, not just for the people in her program, but to everybody in the office. And so I just want to honor Jelena in all the ways that she contributes. Thank you, Jelena.
Ashley's.
Another model.
Selena, do you want to say anything?
I was completely not expecting this, so thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate it. So sweet.
Awesome. All right, so as always, when we're celebrating numbers and closings and whatnot, we want people to clap, right? Tim knows how much I loved this back in the day. We even had clappers and they were really loud and I was incredibly obnoxious with them. Heather took those away from me here. So I did say that I get them back though if people don't clap. So congratulations to everyone with their first closing with Mandy, Brandy. They had a base tool. You could really go. All right, congratulations to our cappers. Amy Black is a first. Amy gets a fun one.
Yeah, first time cappers, I mean, it's a big deal. Wow. Commissions, and that's really, really exciting.
All right, February numbers. Okay, remember, we make mistakes as humans, right? And if there's anything that is wrong in these numbers, let us know. And it is always, in the MLS, it has to be, active, not withheld or coming soon. So I know that gets some confusion for people because they're like, I signed this listing. It is not active in there. So that's just why those numbers are not always in there. Again, if there is any discrepancies, let us know. All right, top individual listings taken, Jen with 1, Amy with 1, Molly with 1, listings taken volume. That was really wimpy. We're gonna move on though. All right, closed volume. There's new names on here, right? There are new names and it's fun to see that. All right, top individual teams, listings taken, this global group of 2. Closed volumes, closed company and based in real estate. Top teams, listings taken, Srempa team. Volume, DeMarais Enterprises, 349. Their new names, I'm not used to saying those. Closed volume, we have Closed GCIs from a team in the number one spot. Top groups, listings taken, Homer's group with 5. Closed volume, we have the Homer's group at $8.2 million. Okay, I just want to say something right now because February was one of our lower months. Like as you're gonna see as an office, when we say 80-20 rule, right? Our office is like by far 80-20 rule. So in regards to this, we're seeing deals still getting done, right? And those are pretty high numbers for February, quite honestly. And I think we talk a lot about how you can take more market share in a market like it is right now, right? So there are still deals, properties to list, properties to sell out there, and they're doing it, right? So if I was someone that's like, I'm having some trouble just lead generating or finding the listings or finding the buyers or turning the deals, when you see these names up here, I would take note and go ask them what they're doing, right? Because whatever they're doing, it's working. And what they did 60, 90 days ago is what made this happen, right? So just as an FYI, we do these numbers, number one, to celebrate you, but also take note, right? Because there's people still doing amazing business, even though February was kind of a low month. Closed GCI, we've got the Homer's group in the number one spot. All right, commercial, we have Stedman Catering. That's really awesome to see too, like commercial wise, right? Because when you think of residential and commercial and how they go together. So, nice job. All right, so in regards to kind of this particular, these statistics, right? So we had always wanted to be all positive because for quite some time we were all negative. We are definitely still positive. MLS is positive in a lot of them. Obviously you see our area has some negatives in front of it. So for closed units, we're up 20.9%. MLS is down 0.26 and the area is up, I guess, 2.6 and the area is down 2.29. Closed volume, we are up 33.2. MLS is up 4.8 and the area is down 0.5. Listings taken, we are up 14.9. MLS is up 2.5. The area is up 1.3. Listings taken volume, we're up 24.9. MLS is up 7.7. And the area is up 7.7. Listings sold, we're up 21.3. MLS is down is up 0.2 and area is down 2.2. Listing sold volume, we are up 32.5. The MLS is up 4.8. Area is down 0.5. Contracts written. Again, I always really like looking at contracts written because all the other ones are kind of in the back of the rear view, right? Contracts written were up 18.4. What has been very interesting as we track our numbers on what the closings look like prior to the month that we're coming into, and then at the beginning of the month, and then at the middle of the month. February, we were tracked at like 27 closings, like all the way until, I don't know, February 10th or something like that. I mean, it was one of those where in our top mastermind, I was like, what is going on? We only have 27 closings projected. Where did we end at?
We ended at 57.
So we ended at 57. Number one, either you guys were turning deals within 2 weeks. Number two, you just weren't turning things in, right? Which is usually what happens. And the important piece about that is we forecast, right? And we're saying, okay, we have 27 closings. This is what it looks like for us as a market center. And you guys should be doing that too in your business. Like, I have 2 closings this month. This is what it looks like for me, profit margin this month, right? So having contracts written up is huge, because even in March, we were projecting quite a few less than what we were hoping to year over year. So that being up is awesome. The MLS is up 1.1, the area is down 0.6. Contracts written volume are up 23.9, MLS is up 6.8, and the area is up 2.8. What do you guys take from these numbers? I mean, what are you feeling in your business? I'm gonna ask what you're feeling, because I know what the numbers are. I'm asking what you're feeling in your business right now.
Well, for me, it feels like a dog eat dog. Like I put in an offer and gets beat out and stuff like that. So there's an investor who's looking for investment properties.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm just getting, hey, we accepted something else. We accept, you know.
So you're doing the work and you're like, but it's not coming to the actual executed purchase agreement. Okay, who else is feeling that? Jack? Who's writing purchase agreements right now? Okay, who's taking listings right now? If you're not, what are you feeling, right? Or if you're not taking enough, what are you feeling? Like, this is an actual conversation, right? This is a judgment-free zone. This is a zone where it's like, how can we take some of these numbers, right? And how can we help each other get to the numbers that we want to be at? Because whether you're a top producing agent or not, when I look across the board, agents are down right now. When I look at their multi-year trends, we're not tracking, and agents are not tracking here where they've been tracking years before. I mean, Tony, if Tony was in here, I mean, he's like, I feel like I'm 40% down, right? You just saw his close numbers. Like, you just saw his volume. So it doesn't matter what your volume is, right? It doesn't matter where you're at. If your business is still down, your business is still down, right? What can we do about that? Or what are people doing about it that feel like they're getting things under contract?
I got to do twice the work, to do it one.
Like listing or,
You have to create that many more calls, have that many more contacts, have that many more conversations. Feels like it's.
will you share your aha from last week?
I have a friend whose mother passed away last June, and they've kind of been working through the estate, and we've talked multiple times about what they should be doing. Are they renting? They decided to rent, all kinds of things. She called me over last week and just said, let's just walk through the house. I was thinking, because I have a lot of history in downsizing the state, that she was asking me that. And I figured I was just tired of talking through what they should get rid of and what they should do. So I went and we got to talking. I'm like, why don't you just let me sell the house? Let's just list the house for you.
Well, and
Yeah, okay.
And prior to that, our goal when we were coaching, she's like, I'm gonna ask for the business. And I was like, tell me more about that, right? And I think we all kind of are like, you know, smirking to ourselves as I look out in the crowd, because we don't ask for the business, right? And you text me that afternoon, she's like, I listed the house right now. Like, I'm sending over the paperwork. We're like, it's listed, right? We're afraid to ask for the business sometimes. I don't care if it's your friend or someone that comes into the open house or someone that's walking by. It is really hard to ask for the business. It's really hard. Multiple reasons. I don't want to get rejected. What if that makes my friendship weird? Who cares? Move on. They didn't list with you, right? If you're holding on to that and you don't figure out why, that's on you. That's not on them. That is absolutely on you at that point in time. I heard a story about someone that listed with another person and they were like, they just never really talk about real estate, so I don't think they take it very seriously. How true is that? You go in a room with the top selling real estate agent, and I guarantee they're talking about real estate in some way, shape, or form. In their own roundabout way. Hey, what's new with your life? Blah, blah, blah. And then like, oh yeah, you doing anything to the house? Like, I mean, there's always there's some sort of conversation with that, right? What else? What else are we doing to get our business where it wants to be? Or where you want it to be? I was so excited for her. I think I just wrote, yes, like all the way across. What else? If we don't talk about it, nothing's gonna change. And we can sit here and then you can sit in your office or your cube or home and be like, well, nothing's changing and I'm not getting any business. Like, I should probably go get a job. Because that's the exact thought that goes through most people's minds, right?
Well, based upon that, it's in Golden Valley. I just figured I was gonna do some circle dialing.
Yeah.
And I just called and another guy called me back and said, I bought mine at the height of the market. I paid $694 and I know I'm not gonna get that, but I think I want to sell this year. So, okay, I'm just gonna tell all the neighbors, everybody's selling. I don't know what else to do. Let's just see if you can get as many listings in the same space as you.
I'm telling you, when you have a listing of your own, right, and you don't utilize that listing to either get another listing or more buyers, again, you are just doing yourself a disservice, right? People are looking at that. They're looking at that listing. Why do you think you see, how many of you go through a neighborhood and all of a sudden you see like 2 of the same agents selling a house? That's not a coincidence. Okay, like that's not even the normal neighborhood that they work in, right? That's not where they live. That's not where they do business normally. But what they did do is they did a really good job of canvassing that area and talking to the neighbors that come into that open house to see if any of them are willing to sell. And let me tell you, those neighbors are watching everything you do. If that thing hits the market and there's no sold sign out there, or you didn't put out open house signs, or you didn't answer their questions in the open house, you already just are off of their list completely. But if you do the things you're supposed to do, they're like, man, and it sold within 2 days. I want that to happen, right? Like, it's really simple, like to get a neighbor's attention. It's really simple. How many of you seen your neighbor's house go for sale? Okay, and what did you do? You were like, first of all, damn it. And then second of all, you were like, who is this person? What is this house selling for? And then you see them outside and you're like, oh, what are you doing? Where are you going? Oh, what's making the move? Oh, okay. I mean, is that not what happens? Or is that just my neighborhood? They're really nosy, so it might just be my neighborhood. But like every time, right? And then all of a sudden you see 3 more houses go up within that 3 blocks, right? Once one goes, it's like everybody goes up. Candy.
I was just gonna say, if you need help canvassing, if you get a listing and you want to go boots on the ground, have, there are people here who would love to help with that and help find business of their own and just like get out there. So if you're like, I need help finding a buyer, I need help finding a seller,
Here's a
want to
great-
go out there and work with you. It's way more fun to do in a group.
Well, here's a great point. There are a lot of people like, I am never gonna door knock ever. That is so beneath me. I do not door knock. I just take this, right? And at some point, when you get really busy, you're like, I don't want to do that, right? There are plenty of agents in here that would love to door knock someone's listing, okay? I'm gonna probably pick on Tony since he's not in here. Tony's not door knocking his listings. I can guarantee you that, and neither is Shane. Neither one of them. Melanie was like, nope. But when you see them or Homer's group, right, putting up 5 listings, go ask them, hey, are you willing to have me go door knock your new listing? If I was an agent that had 5 listings and I wasn't gonna do it, I'd be like, absolutely, have at it. Like, go do it, right? Find that buyer for me. So just, you gotta get creative sometimes, because a lot of times you don't have listings, right? Or you don't have a buyer. Utilize everyone in this office to, find a new buyer, find a new listing. All right, what else? What else are we doing? I guess the question is, are we lead generating? I'm totally cool with silence, so.
I'm going back to setting up just coffee chats. I've set for this week. And just keep staying in front of people, staying in flow with their lives.
What does that look like?
Send them a text, say something maybe you saw on social media or something that made you think of them and love to catch up. They always say, oh yeah, I'd love to. Then when you're together, inevitably the conversation comes to real estate.
Okay.
And I think it's so important on those, like a coffee meet, to talk about real estate. And it is an easy thing to bring up. A lot of people own homes or rent and want to talk about homes. I mean, it's your biggest investment. It's something that the majority of people want to talk about.
Well, you also need a house or their parents need to downsize or,
Talking about real estate it's an easy thing to talk about because the majority of people are interested in it.
Well, I think the other piece to that too is you share like what you have as a goal with someone. When someone shares a goal with me, I'm like, yeah, right. And I usually check in on it, or I'm like, how's it going? Even if you forget for 8 months that person said that, and then they pop up on Instagram or they pop up on Facebook, you'll be like, oh, I wonder how that was going. Do you not do that? Right? So if someone was if you were to share with them and then you ask them like, hey, what's your goal this year? And it doesn't have to do with business. And they're like, I want to run a marathon or I want to read 50 books. What would that look like, right? For you then to share, I want to help 30 families, right? And then you check in on them and you're like, hey, how's those books coming? What are you at? What are you at out of 50? Number one, you're reminding them as accountability in a weird way, whether they like it or not. And number two, all of a sudden they're going to ask, usually, how's your goal going? Unless they're like really mean, that's like human nature is to reciprocate that question, right? Like you reciprocate what someone asks you normally. Okay, what else? I'm not going to let this one go because where we are in production is not where we should be. And I know it's not where you want to be as agents, right? So as much as you guys don't want to answer this question and you guys have better things to do right now, I don't believe that's the case. I truly do not believe that's the case.
Maureen has something.
Maureen.
Okay, so this is something I don't know if other people are seeing, but that has just happened to me this month. On the buy side, when I've had clients that were really interested in a home that we went to look at, I've called the listing agent and said, do you have any offers in? No, we don't have any offers in, but we've had a lot of interest. Okay, will you make sure that you circle back around with us? My clients are super interested. They really love this. And then my clients take their time figuring out if they want to write an offer. And within just a day or two, I'm finding out on the MLS that the home is under contract and already done. So it's very frustrating because you'll have an agent that will say, oh, absolutely, I will circle back with you if an offer comes in. So what I'm learning with my clients is, I'm having to say, like, we're going to go look at a house tomorrow, and they're going to have to not take the time to make the decision because it's often just not, the time is not given. And I'm noticing listing agents are not being good about coming back around and giving you a chance for the opportunity.
To be fair, on the other side, right, as a listing agent, you have 8 to 12 to 15 offers coming in. To be fair, right, and I don't know how many that was. Most listing agents may or may not send out a, hey, we have multiples, but that's about all that they have the capacity to do. I was talking to an agent, they had 65 showings in 2 days at a house, right? And if that's not their only listing, that's a really hard task to do, is to call every single one of those agents or even remember, right, which one of those agents was going to or not write an offer. So what I would suggest, and other people can suggest things as well, is as a buyer's agent, that listings agent job is not ever to call you, right? And quite honestly, it's also not the seller's. The seller could be like, hey, here's an offer, it came in, and we're taking it, right? Like, it could be such a great offer that they just take it. And then the listing agent gets yelled at by a lot of other people, but it's the seller's decision, right? So Maureen, I would say in that scenario, I would either be in communication with them on a daily basis, or hey, are there still any offers? Or if it's something that they really want, I would write, right? I mean, you have to talk through that with them. Yeah.
Real quick, here's a strategy worth considering that I've been using for quite a while. Obviously, you got to get the seller to agree it's their choice, but we all know that we got them usually too.
Yeah.
Try to land on a spot when you're a listing agent. You got a hot property where the answer is, what, I'm not gonna promise that I'm gonna reach out. I've been instructed to just play it as we go, and we're looking for somebody decisive. And a lot of buyer agents will realize at that moment, Maureen's probably there too, where it's a gift to them too. It's good for everybody because you're not giving them permission to sit on the fence. You're saying, hey, we may or may not call you, and just being transparent. So that's where we're at.
And I think that's fair, like to have the listing agent not say, yes, I'll call, and then they don't, right? It's a weird kind of dance, right? With that, on who they need and what they need to do as a listing agent or a buyer's agent.
That takes care of the dance. So
Yeah.
we may not call you. So we're, somebody steps up hard and they show us they want the house and they're decisive. That's the kind of buyer that usually closes without any surprises. So
Yeah. Yeah. Fair.
And on the flip side of that, in terms of looking for listings, then it's your opportunity to send maybe a gold letter to other houses in that area that match that criteria. Yep. And say, we lost on an offer, and would you consider selling? Is that something you?
That's a great lead gen source as well, right? Like you validated, we already lost on this one. It's a qualified buyer looking in your neighborhood. And if that house doesn't work for them, go on a listing appointment. All right. Anything else on that? Okay. All right, so this is just year over year for our market center. So closed units, we were at 56 this year. We were at 57 last year. Closed volume, I mean, this has kind of been a norm, as our volume is always higher no matter where we're at. We were at 33.5 versus 27.8. Listings taken, we took 46 versus 37. Listings taken volume, we're at 35.9 versus 24.4. Listings sold, we were pretty close, 25 versus 23. Listings sold volume, we were at 15.3 versus 13.6. Contracts written, we were at 55 versus 68 last year. And then contracts written volume, we were actually lower at 28.6 versus 31.4 million. And then GCI, we are at 817 versus 745 in 2024. And then profit share, we were at 780 versus 68. So this is 2 years in a row that we haven't been zero or negative for profit share or profit, right? So for us, again, those that weren't here, we got hit pretty different than some market centers, just in regards to when the cap changed, right? So the fact that even as a market center, we still were profitable and were able to give out profit share in February, even though things were tight. We have come a long way, right? Versus, I know Tim sees very different numbers at different market centers, right? That's a big deal. Might not seem like a big deal, but that's a big deal for sure. Any questions around this? These are like real quiet. Are we tired? Are we going on?
It looks like the numbers Gary was talking about, saying this year's numbers are gonna look a lot like last year's numbers, and and the volume numbers are up, which the other numbers, except for listings taken, look really similar to last year. It looks consistent with.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There were a few new construction cancel and relist in that 46. I mean, not a lot, but about, 5, 6. So there's a few of those in there.
I mean, and to be fair, I mean, I think February was the last month last year that we were under 1 million for GCI.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, literally February was the last month that we, all year last year, were under 1 million. And I think our highest was 1.8, what was it, 1
We had a 1.710, yeah, so 1.7.
So I'm like,
Yes.
I mean, that's where this shift, right? Like, I mean, those are very different numbers, right? When your GCI goes up like that. And then not only is it the GCI, it's how many productive agents. So if we were to look at our productive agents this month, our goal is 55%, right? So 55% of you are closing a deal. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want as a healthy market center, not just for the market center, but for you, right? So there's more of you that are making money than are not, right? We were at 32% in February. 32%.
32% of you made money.
And when I get like passionate, and you might even think I'm like kind of mean or like, ooh, she's intense. That's because that number hurts me, thinking that there are people sitting out in front of me or on Zoom or not even coming into the market center that are struggling, right? Because that's a fair thing when you've got 68% of our agents not closing a deal. That makes me want to be able to help you, but I can't help any of you if you don't come to me for help or we don't talk in these meetings, right? The silence isn't going to get you any further than where we currently are. Is that fair to say? It would be really fun when we were at 55%. The energy in the room, month after month, when we go over numbers and it ends up being 40 and above, is a very different energy than it is right now. Like there's excitement. People are, still probably tired, but it's in a different way, right? And it's fun. I don't think some of you are having fun right now, because I sure in the heck would not be having fun right now, right?
What's going on with the economy and the economy in general? When I'm speaking to people are just on edge. A lot of people just
Maybe, but
can't think outside of what's happening next month.
and I think part of that too is, right, being in relationship with people and being able to have conversations, right? Like when we're talking about interest rates or we're talking about, hey, guess what? This is how many are closing, or this is the change, right? When you can use data and knowledge to have conversations with people. Earlier I said, how do we feel, right? And people are like, oh, I feel really busy, or I feel tired, or I feel exhausted, or, the numbers are not saying that, right? So when you can do that with the consumer, show them the numbers and show them what's really going on. And hey, what's your motivation to move? Do you think it's a match, right? That's a really different conversation, and you're going to have a different experience with your clients at that point in time. I think people can focus on whatever they decide to focus on, and they will commit to that, right? They will commit to that focus. And when you can take it and put it on something that's going to move them forward, it's a very different thing, right? And yeah, I think the economy does have some to do with it, and people, watch whatever media and then they glob onto whatever information, whichever way it goes, right? And then it's terrifying. Yeah.
A lot of things outside.
But that can shift people's mindset a lot too, in regards to, hey, I am now house poor. I mean, I'm spending a lot on a mortgage. Do I need 6 bedrooms and 5 baths? Do I need 4 bedrooms and 3 baths? No matter what, people are still gonna need a place to live. And that shift might just look different depending on where the economy is, right? like that shift of why they're downsizing, or if there's job layoffs, or guess what, we need to save money here instead of than here. The first thing that happens is it's a housing thing, right? They're like, we don't need all this space anymore. We can't afford all this space anymore. I mean, so no matter what is going on, it's just shifting to what's happening and who might need your help at that time, in my opinion. Anyone else have a thought on that? No? All right, we are gonna do spin the wheel and we're gonna let you guys all meditate like you've been doing for the last 55 minutes.
Wants and needs, sorry.
Wants and needs, let's do that with you. Well, let's put the, spin the wheel so you can start coming up and then do wants and needs as it happens. I don't, Amy's here. Who else is here? Sherry's here. Oh, you could take Jacob's here. Bob, you get to spin for Homer's. Ben doesn't get to spin because he was checking his emails the whole time.
I was kidding too.
Full was on. I don't know. Want one of those?
What's the needs? What do we got? What are new listings, buyers? What are you looking for?
Are you adding the?
Obi, I think you had something.
I was just saying I was available for open house this weekend or door knocking.
Oh,
if
okay.
anyone wants- Has any listing?
So Obi is available for opens and door knocking. You were open for showing help. I'm not gonna do this on your own.
I got
One, okay, one. How many spins you got?
Oh,
Five?
you got 5. Oh,
Oh, right. The one.
Two.
Okay. Couple like-
I thought you said.
I think you said what?
Choices.
I think we need a new thing.
Where'd the noisemaker go?
Yeah, we need a new
Flip
thing.
it. Amy.
We gotta, maybe,
We have fun here, okay?
there we go, okay. Out of 10.
Is this 4?
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
There we go, okay.
Those are some big ones though. What do you think?
Nice job.
You got any full tabs?
So while I'm up here, I got a villa in Waconia, about 2,000 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, less than a year old. They had to move to make room for their daughter moved back in. Got about 20 grand worth of upgrades.
What's the price?
It's gonna be about 520.
Okay.
It's really priced well.
Laconia?
Yeah, Waconia.
Then again, a double it.
I've got a condo coming up in Plymouth,
Price?
2-bath. Right about 190. 190, 200 range.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Underground parking.
Another
Really-
10.
Really nice, sweet little area.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
This is not like.
One more?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send some stuff to you.
Oh, okay.
Go on. I don't know if I've ever seen you spin it, Ben.
Have you?